Disability insurance. Disability insurance is designed to replace income that is lost due to a short-term or a permanent disability. If you're in here right now, you have a 1 in 3 chance of becoming disabled for 6 months or more at some time in your life. That's a pretty strong chance. As a matter of fact, if you're in here and you're 30, you're way more likely to become disabled by 65 than to die, statistically. And yet this is probably the most underinsured area of the major points of insurance in a good financial plan. You've got to get disability insurance. Try buying disability insurance that pays if you cannot perform the job that you were trained or educated to do. That is called occupational or ON-OC disability. Now, in the last few years, ON-OC disability rates have gone way up, and one way you can limit that, and the best way to buy it, is to get ON-OC for 2 years. After that, not ON-OC. Now, what that would mean is, I speak for a living, I do radio for a living. If I lost my voice, I would not be able to, now I might be completely able-bodied except for my voice, I would be unable to do my job, right? Now, if I had a 2-year ON-OC plan, I couldn't do my own occupation, and for 2 years they would pay me. After that, they'd be going, get a job. Unless I was completely disabled, and if I was completely disabled, then I couldn't do any job, then it would still cover from then on, much less my job. And voice disability would not qualify in that case. So if I was in a bad car wreck in a wheelchair or something like that, that kind of a thing, then it would pay me all the way out. But if I just couldn't do something that my job, that's for 2 years. And that's many times the way this is set up. Beware of short-term policies covering less than 5 years. Here's the situation. Longer than 5 years is called long-term disability. Shorter than 5 years is called short-term disability. Do not buy short-term disability. The short-term disability is covered by your emergency fund and getting out of debt and having a plan. It's the long-term disability that'll kill you. If you got this 15-year thing where you can't earn an income, that's huge for your family. You can make it a couple of years and figure out with your emergency fund how to get through things. If you have a good 3 to 6 months of expenses, we know we can make it 6 months anyway. And so long-term disability is the only thing that I own, and it's the only thing I recommend. But you've got to get it. I'll never forget, I was doing a book signing not long ago, and this young man, 28 years old, came up to me in the book line. And he said, I know I don't look like it, but he said, I have a condition, and he named this thing as long as a car. And he said, I'm completely unable to work. I am completely disabled. And because I was listening to you, because I went through your class, I had long-term disability. He said, I have 3 kids, I'm 28 years old. I used to make $100,000 a year, and now I don't make a dime. And this insurance policy is paying me $65,000 a year. And Dave, you know, the stuff you taught me, because I went and did it, it saved my kids. It saved my family. We didn't lose our home. We haven't lost anything. And he said, you wouldn't believe what we've been through. And he told me the whole story about the medical, and it was bizarre. But it really made me stop and think, if a young guy, 28 years old, if that's the case, man, you got to get this stuff. Now, let me tell you, long-term disability, just out in the open market, just going shopping, can be very expensive. And it is based on not as much your health or you know, your age like some insurance is. It's based more on what you do, the type of work you do. If you're doing something where you're doing something with your hands in a blue-collar setting, it's going to be more expensive than if you're flying a desk. Okay, and so you got to think through this stuff. If you're in an office working environment, in other words, it's going to be less than if you're out here handling power equipment, because you're more likely to be disabled. I mean, if you're a high-rise window washer, just forget it. They don't want you. Okay, but it's life insurance there anyway. That disability won't even apply. You know, so you know, that's the kind of thing they look at, is the occupational classification. And out in the open market, you're going to find this to be very, very expensive. But in some cases, it makes sense. The best way to get disability insurance is if they furnish it at your work, obviously, and you don't have to pay for it. That's wonderful. But if they give you the opportunity to buy it in group through work, it's usually the cheapest there is. It's a great buy. Buy it. If they offer it at work, buy it. It's almost always the best deal. If they don't offer it at work in any way, you can't get it, try something through a trade association. If you're a home builder, talk to the Home Builders Association. If you're a realtor, talk to the realtors and see, sometimes trade groups will come together and offer group disability that way. And again, it'll be cheaper than just going to your insurance agent. But anytime you're shopping insurance, you go to an independent insurance agent, let them shop among many, many, many different plans and different companies to get you the best possible deal. Your coverage with disability should be around 65% of your current income. Around 65% of your current income. The reason is that if you buy this with after-tax dollars, do not buy this with pre-tax dollars. Buy it with after-tax dollars. It's the only thing I'll ever tell you that about. Everything else you buy with pre-tax dollars. But if you buy it with pre-tax dollars, when you become disabled, your disability income's taxable. If you buy it with after-tax dollars, disability income's tax-free. So you want it to be tax-free. Buy it with after-tax dollars. And if that's the case, you can live on 65% of your old gross. If you used to gross $100,000 and you bring home $65,000, that's about what you were getting home with after taxes and Social Security anyway. It's a little less, but you were getting killed anyway by Washington. So you're operating just about on your take-home pay. You won't find it very often above 70%, and lots of places you'll find it to be 50% of your income. But a good rule of thumb is try to stay, don't panic, but try to stay in that 65% realm. Right now, it's so inexpensive that at this particular moment, I'm able to furnish it for my entire team. Everyone that works on our team, we buy it as a benefit. And it covers at 70% for 2 years of own-occ in that situation. But our higher income earners, it doesn't cover them. It doesn't cover anywhere near 70% of my income. It's limited, I think, to 100 or 150,000, and after that, it shuts down, 70% of that. And so if you got somebody making 300 or something like that, then it's not going to take you all the way up to that. The big thing here is just make sure you got food money and money to keep the lights on for an extended period of time. That's what this is for. Now, the elimination period in disability is the same as your deductible. It's the time between the disabling event. I'm disabled here. 30 days later, payments begin. I had a 30-day elimination period. The longer your elimination period, the more risk you take, the lower your premiums are. And so a 30-day elimination period is like a $250 deductible on your car. A 90-day is about like a $500 deductible on your car. A 180-day elimination would be like carrying a $1,000 deductible on your car. So you're taking 180 days, you're going to go 6 months of being disabled on your own, then it's going to start. Well, if you carry an emergency fund of 6 months, then you would be perfectly okay on that. So again, I'm willing to take some of those first dollar risks to keep my premiums down. I want them to catch the catastrophes. Are you seeing that theme all the way through the health insurance, through the disability insurance, through the auto and the homeowners? They catch the big stuff. I'll take the little stuff with my emergency fund and with my financial clean living, okay? And then you keep your premiums down and you get to use them for what they're for. Insurance rates are a battle you're going to fight the rest of your life. And the only thing you can do is continually be shopping, continually be looking. I recommend you check with a good independent agent. That's an agent that, well, shops a bunch of different companies to find the best deal for you, whether it's car insurance or renter's insurance or whatever it is. Someone who's shopping a whole bunch of different companies. Identity theft protection. 15 million people this year have had their identity stolen. It's the fastest growing white-collar crime in North America today. And when you have your identity stolen, you will spend an average of 600 hours trying to get that mess cleaned up. You don't owe any money, and I told you in that lesson how not to pay any money and how to fight it through. But you're going to spend an average of 600 hours cleaning up your mess. So I recommend this type of protection, identity theft protection. Don't buy ID theft protection that only provides credit report monitoring. Crud, you can do that on your own. You're allowed to pull your own credit bureau once a year free anyway. So you don't need to have somebody else pay somebody else for that opportunity. Don't do that stuff. And a lot of that stuff's coming in your credit card statements. A lot of the credit bureau companies are offering it now, that kind of thing. I do recommend you buy it, and I own identity theft protection on me. That includes restoration services that assign a counselor to go clean up the mess. See, the problem is not that you're going to owe money. The problem is you've got a new hobby. You're going to have to deal with the fraud victim division with a bunch of credit card companies, and you're going to have to go through all this mess to clean up stuff that you don't know through no fault of your own. And so I like the idea of having someone take my case, go do this for me. They go fight with the bank. They go fight with the credit card company and clean up the mess for me. That's the way you want to do identity theft protection.
Victims of identity theft spend an average of 600 hours recovering from this crime. It is devastating financially and emotionally. Identity theft can happen anywhere: phone, internet, mall, doctor's office, even at your home mailbox. So it's more important than ever to protect your personal information. Never carry your Social Security card with you. It belongs in a safe place at home. Never throw out documents with your personal information, including your address. Use a paper shredder, and never give your Social Security number until you're officially offered a job. That's simple. Be especially careful on the internet for scams like phishing, and that's phishing with a PH. This is where you get an email from a supposedly legitimate company asking you to verify your credit card or personal information. This happened to a friend of my daughter's not long ago at college. The local bank had of course, their logo and stuff, right? Everybody recognized the logo. So all the students there at the college ended up getting an email from what looked like that local bank, where a lot of them had an account. And the email said, there's a problem with your account. We need to verify what's going on. Quickly email us back and click this link. And they clicked the link. It took them to a website. It looked like the bank's website. And you fill in your account information. Hundreds of students on this college campus did this. And of course, it was a con. It was a phishing con. And they took, the con artist took the account numbers, cleaned out the students' accounts. My daughter said the next morning at the bank, there was a line of students around the block trying to get their accounts closed because they've been cleaned out. This is a common phishing process. So it can include verifying your account number. Dear valued customer, if you don't respond within 48 hours, your account will be closed. It happens if you have an eBay account. You'll see some phishing scams with that. Sometimes it looks like it's the IRS. Click the link below to gain access to your account. See, don't follow that stuff. Legitimate companies, internet or otherwise, will not ask you for your account information or your password unless you call them first. They already have your account information. Anytime you enter a debit card number or personal information on a website that you initiate the transaction with, make sure that the HTTP in the address bar changes to HTTPS for security, and that the little padlock appears on your browser. If you're surfing at an internet cafe, you're fair game, so don't log onto your bank account or make purchases while you're there. And those phone calls you get asking you to verify your debit card number because you want a prize, oh, please, get real, guys. If something looks too good to be true, it probably is.